Hi, my name is Mrs. Aurora Santa Ana, and I'm here to read to you a story about the Little Red Riding Hood. But before I read it to you, let me give you a quick background of what we've been doing in class. So we've been talking about the author's job and the illustrator's job. Now, as you can see, I put the word author on a pencil because the author's job is to write the book. And the illustrator is on a paintbrush because the illustrator's job is to draw pictures or make pictures for the story. And so we also sing the song, the author writes the book, the author writes the book, the illustrator draws the pictures, the author writes the book. I'm a little off tune, but it's okay. It's just for fun. And also we were talking about fiction. Fiction meaning it is fake. Fiction starts with an F. And fake begins with F. So fiction is fake. Something that's not real. It is fake. It's not going to happen. But it's just fun. Now we have some fiction stories. They're not going to happen. The animals are talking. The animals are acting like humans. But it's kind of entertaining. So it's called a fiction story. And then we also talk about the non-fiction stories. The non-fiction stories are something that's for real, like what I'm doing now. You are watching me. It is a non-fiction thing, and I'm telling the story, and I'm a real person. All right. So, and also we're talking about the story elements. So when we read a book, we always talk about the title. The setting is where the story happened. I put a question mark there. And the characters. The characters are any person in the story or any animal that's in the story, and it could be 1, 2, or 3 characters. We have more than 2, or it depends. Okay, so we enumerate and we talk about and describe the characters in the story. And of course, every story has a problem, and every problem has a solution. So here's my story about the Little Red Riding Hood. And this, they know this is the front cover, and this is the spine. The spine is the one that holds the pages together, and this is the back cover. So this is the title page, The Little Red Riding Hood. As you can see, there's the Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. So by just looking at the picture, they know the main characters in the story. Once upon a time, there was a little girl. Everyone loved her very much. Her grandmother loved her most of all. She made her a red velvet hood to wear, and the little girl wore it everywhere. So she was called Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "Your grandmother is not feeling well. Here is a basket of food to share with her. Now hurry along. Remember to stay on the path and don't stop to play in the woods." "Yes, Mama," said Little Red Riding Hood, and off she skipped to grandmother's house. So there's the picture, there's mother, and that's Little Red Riding Hood, and off she left. She had not gone far when she met a wolf. "Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf. "Good morning, Wolf," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Where are you going so early this morning?" asked the wolf. "To see my grandmother," said Little Red Riding Hood. "And what do you have in your basket?" asked the wolf. "Good things to eat," said Little Red Riding Hood. And there's the picture. Look at the wolf's face. He was really thinking. The wolf licked his lips. "The grandmother will be good to eat," he thought. "And this little girl will be even better. I must think of a way to gobble up both of them." Then the wolf asked, "Where does your grandmother live?" "Oh, down the path near that big oak tree," said Little Red Riding Hood, and she pointed the way to her grandmother's house. And you see the illustration here. There you go. And we talk about, this is the print, the one I'm reading, and the illustration is the picture. Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf walked along the path for a while. "What a beautiful day," said the wolf. "Why don't you stop to play? Don't you want to pick some pretty flowers? Little Red Riding Hood looked around her. I will pick some flowers for grandmother, she thought. So she left the path. Each time she picked a flower, she saw a prettier one just ahead. Soon she was deep in the woods. The wolf ran straight to grandmother's house. There you go. And there's the house. He knocked on the door. Who's there? Grandmother said. It is Little Red Riding Hood, said the wolf in a squeaky voice. Please open the door. I am in bed, said grandmother. Lift the latch and come in. The wolf opened the door. He ran into the house and he swallowed the grandmother in one gulp. Then he put on her nightcap and jumped into the bed. Soon Little Red Riding Hood came to the house. The door was open. Good morning, grandmother, she called. There was no answer. Little Red Riding Hood had a strange feeling. You know that feeling when you don't feel good and you're in doubt? You're not even sure. You can smell danger. She went up to the bed. There was grandmother. But, grandmother, said Little Red Riding Hood, what big ears you have. All the better to hear you with, my dear, said the wolf. She looked closely. But grandmother, what big eyes you have, cried Little Red Riding Hood. All the better to see you with, my dear, said the wolf. Grandmother, gasped Little Red Riding Hood, what big teeth you have. All the better to eat you with, my dear. And he jumped out of bed and gobbled up Little Red Riding Hood. Then the wolf fell fast asleep. Soon he began to snore. A little while later, a hunter walked by. Listen to the old woman snoring, he said. I wonder if she's all right. The hunter went into the house. He saw the wolf fast asleep. Now I got you, you wicked wolf, said the hunter. I have been looking for you for a long time. And he was about to hurt the wolf. Then he thought that perhaps the wolf had eaten the old woman, so she might still be alive. So the hunter took out his wife. He could open the wolf. Out jumped Little Red Riding Hood. I was so afraid in there, she said. How dark it was inside his belly, said Little Red Riding Hood. Then grandmother crawled out. She was still alive. Little Red Riding Hood got some heavy stones and put them in Wolf's belly. Then grandmother quickly sewed the wolf together. Soon the wolf woke up. He woke up from a long nap. When he saw the hunter, the wolf tried to run, but the stones inside him were so heavy. He took one step. He took 2 steps. And he fell dead. Then the Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother and the hunter sat down for a fine lunch. And that's after Little Red Riding Hood. And that Little Red Riding Hood thought to herself, I will never leave the path to play in the woods, for my mother told me so. And that's the end. And we talk about how Little Red Riding Hood did not follow mother, and she got into trouble, and she also put her grandmother's life in danger. So it's really important for little children to follow directions from the adults, especially when their parents tell them not to leave and to follow directions. We need to follow directions, okay? And so after that, we talk about which part of the story is their favorite part, and sort the events in the story that are fiction, which one is fake in the story, and which ones are non-fiction, like a wolf. There is really a wolf. There's really a hunter. There's always grandmother, and it's possible there's a girl named Little Red Riding Hood. But the one that's fiction in the story is the wolf talking, the wolf like walking to grandmother's house and putting on a nightcap. Another thing that's fiction in the story is when they were gobbled up by the wolf and they were still alive. Grandmother just crawled out of the wolf's belly, and Little Red Riding Hood, it was so dark in his belly. So those parts and those events are fiction. So we cannot talk about that. And also I let them draw pictures, so I made them an illustrator. So I showed them my work. He's not my best one, but an illustration for the picture, the Little Red Riding Hood, and they had fun, and we put the title, and we kind of tie in with our language arts lesson because we're talking about the letter D. So circle the letter D in the title, Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, d. The letter D says d. The letter D says d. Raise the roof now, d. Clap your hands now, d. Tap your knee now, d. Shake it up now, d. Shake it up now, d. So in just one story, you cover a whole lot of things, okay? So we talk about the letter, the author, the illustrator, the fiction and the non-fiction, the story elements, the parts of the book, the front, the spine, and the back cover, and the reading comprehension. And then being an illustrator is part of arts. Okay, so hope you like it. Thank you. Bye-bye.